Have you ever wondered why you were born on a specific day? The day you were born is not a coincidence, but a part of God's divine plan. Every moment of your life, from the day you arrived in this world, holds a special meaning that you may not have yet discovered. In the Bible, it is said, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." This statement is not only an acknowledgement of each person's existence, but also a confirmation that God had a plan for you from the very first moment. Think about this. God, the creator of the vast universe, didn't just create stars, planets, plants, and all creatures, but he also took the time to carefully design each of our lives. We are not just a random point in the flow of time. We are part of a grand plan, meticulously arranged and filled with purpose. Your birth date was predetermined, not just personally, but also spiritually, carrying messages from God about the path your life will take. The day you were born holds special significance, not only for you, but also for all those around you. It marks your arrival in the world with a specific mission and a unique role that God has assigned to you. Throughout your life, you may have felt that you were created for something greater, something higher. That is true because God placed you in this world with a special reason. And your birth date is the key to unlocking the profound meanings that your life holds. Each birthday throughout the year carries different spiritual meanings, and each month reveals a part of God's great plan. Your birth date is not just the beginning of a personal journey, but also part of the divine story you are called to fulfill. You may have felt at times that there is something different about your life, something special that you haven't quite been able to name. The truth is, it was set by God long ago. He not only knows who you will become, but also understands the role you will play in his plan for this world. Your birth date is not just an event in history, it is a message from God. It is a reminder that each of us is given a unique mission, an important role in this universe. Even if you have gone through life's ups and downs, even if you have had moments of doubt about your purpose, remember that your birth date was carefully chosen by God. He never does anything by chance, and your existence, as well as your birth date, carries far more meaning than you might imagine. We often celebrate birthdays once a year as a marker of growing a year older. But in truth, our birthdays carry much more than that. It is the beginning of a journey ordained by God, a journey not only for ourselves, but also impacting those around us. Your birth date affirms that you were born to fulfill a mission that only you can accomplish. Each birth month has its own characteristics and meaning in the Bible, and your birth date is the key to discovering these things. As you begin to understand more about the spiritual meaning behind your birth, you will gradually see more clearly the mission God has placed upon your shoulders. You are not just an individual living in this world. You are part of a grand divine plan. You were born to do something special, to impact the world in a way that only you can. Your birth date is the message that God sends to you, reminding you that you are an irreplaceable part of his plan. No matter what stage of life you are in, remember that you were created with a purpose, and your birth date is a part of the beginning of that journey. Cherish your birthday, not just as a personal milestone, but as part of the divine mission that God has given you. Now that we understand the spiritual significance behind each person's birth date and the importance it carries, let's dive into each specific birth month. Each month of the year comes with special messages from God, symbolizing the unique qualities, missions, and goals that he has bestowed upon those born in that time. From the strength of beginnings to the ability to let go and be reborn, each birth month will reveal a different aspect of God's plan for your life. Let us explore the hidden meanings behind each month and see how your birth date is connected to spiritual significance, helping you realize your mission in this journey. For those born in January, this month signifies the dawn of a new era, much like the start of creation itself. Just as God initiated the world in Genesis, January-born individuals are called to be pioneers, establishing order in the midst of chaos. They have a unique ability to see hope and light where others see only darkness. This mirrors the biblical truth that God often uses those who are brave enough to venture into the unknown to bring forth his divine will. January is a time of setting resolutions, creating new paths, and embracing opportunities that God has prepared. It is the perfect moment for spiritual renewal, as we, too, can take inspiration from the story of creation. Much like God breathed life into the world, this month invites us to breathe new life into our commitments and relationship with him. I and the Bible, we see figures like Moses who, though initially hesitant, stepped out in faith to lead his people to freedom. January-born individuals are similarly called to be leaders, to trust in God's timing, and to stand firm in their belief even when the road seems uncertain. The most important lesson January teaches is that every new beginning requires faith. As Christians, we are reminded that while we may not always see the full picture, God sees it all. This is the month to trust in His plan, no matter how daunting the circumstances may seem. Just like the birth of the world in darkness before the arrival of light, so too does the darkness of uncertainty precede the clarity of God's purpose. Those born in January are called to remind others that the light will always come, and with it, the beauty of God's order. This month encourages all of us to step forward in faith, knowing that new beginnings, no matter how small, are precious in the eyes of the Lord. As we've journeyed through each month, we've seen how every season holds its own unique beauty and spiritual significance. From the fresh beginnings of January, where we embrace the hope of new possibilities, to the depths of reflection and redemption found in December, each month is a mirror reflecting the different stages of our own faith journey. It reminds us that no matter where we find ourselves, whether in seasons of growth, struggle, patience, or celebration, God is at work, shaping our hearts and guiding our steps. Each month calls us to live with purpose, to lean into the lessons it offers, and to trust that God's timing is perfect. January encourages us to step forward in faith, even when the future is uncertain. February reminds us of the balance between truth and love, while March teaches us the importance of following God's call, even when the world doesn't understand. April, with its message of renewal, shows us the power of letting go, and May strengthens us to persevere with unwavering faith. As we continue through the year, June inspires us to be servant leaders, July calls us to live authentically, and August invites us to seek spiritual depth and balance. September reminds us to pursue truth and purpose, while October encourages us to embrace humility and service. November, with its focus on reflection and emotional connection, teaches us the value of empathy, and finally, December brings us the ultimate message of hope and redemption through the birth of Christ. But beyond these months, there is an even greater truth that runs through each season, that God's love for us is constant and unwavering. No matter what month you were born in, no matter what season of life you're in right now, you have been created with a divine purpose. Each of us is on a unique journey, but we are all bound together by God's grace and His endless desire to see us flourish in faith, love, and service. So, as you carry these reflections with you, let them inspire you to live each day with renewed faith and intention. Let them remind you that every moment, every challenge, and every joy is part of a greater plan that God is weaving together for your good. And as you step into each new month, may you do so with the courage to embrace the lessons it brings, the strength to trust in God's timing, and the hope that through Him, all things are made new. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you carry these lessons in your heart and live each month as a reflection of the love, wisdom, and grace that God has poured into your life. Together, let's walk forward, always seeking His will, always trusting His promises, and always remembering that with God, every season holds a purpose, and every month is an opportunity to draw closer to Him. Those born in February are gifted with a rare blend of sensitivity and strength. In this month, we see a balance between the pursuit of truth and the ability to empathize with others' suffering. February-born individuals reflect Christ's compassion, who understood the pain and struggles of the people around Him while still standing firm in His divine mission. Just as Jesus listened and healed those who were marginalized and broken, people born in February are called to be listeners, healers, and those who offer understanding when no one else will. I am the Bible, figures like Joseph, who demonstrated mercy and forgiveness to his brothers, serve as shining examples of what it means to carry this balance. Joseph, despite the betrayal he faced, chose to embrace the path of compassion and reconciliation. Similarly, February-born individuals often find themselves as mediators, helping others see the bigger picture while offering them kindness and hope. February also reminds us of the importance of harmony. This month, wedged between the stillness of January and the awakening of spring, teaches us that life is a balance of moments, times of action and times of reflection. For those seeking God's will, February encourages a deeper connection with both self and others, fostering spiritual growth that is grounded in love and wisdom. The key lesson February offers is that truth and love must walk hand in hand. As the Apostle Paul reminds us in 1 Corinthians 13, "If I have all knowledge but do not have love, I am nothing." This month challenges us to seek truth but to deliver it with grace. February-born individuals exemplify this by living with both passion for what is right and compassion for the struggles of others. For everyone, this is a reminder that while we may know the truth, our real power lies in how we choose to share it, with love, understanding, and patience. The world is in need of both clarity and care, and February calls us to provide both. For those born in March, this month symbolizes a deep hunger for knowledge and a strong sense of faith in the unseen. Much like the early spring that slowly starts to reveal itself, March-born individuals are naturally curious, always seeking to uncover the mysteries of life and the world around them. They reflect the spirit of figures like Noah, who, despite being misunderstood by the world around him, followed God's voice and prepared for a future that no one else could see. March teaches us about the beauty of trusting in God's plan, even when it doesn't make sense. Just as Noah built the ark long before the rain came, people born in this month have the ability to move forward in faith, even when the outcome isn't clear. They are persistent in their journey of discovery, knowing that God has a purpose for everything, and they are often the ones who remind others to keep believing when times are tough. In the Bible, the story of Noah is a perfect representation of March's theme. Noah's unwavering faith in God, despite the doubts and disbelief of others, led to the preservation of life during the flood. March-born individuals have a similar calling to believe, to trust, and to act, even when others might doubt or question their motives. The lesson from March is the importance of faith in action. It's one thing to believe, but it's another to act on that belief, just as Noah did. This month encourages everyone, not just those born in March, to take steps of faith in their lives. We may not always have all the answers, but faith compels us to move forward, trusting that God will reveal His plan in due time. For those in pursuit of understanding, March reminds us that God's ways are higher than ours, and often, our path requires us to trust without seeing the full picture. It's a call to explore, discover, and ultimately put our faith into practice, knowing that God honors those who step out in trust, much like He did with Noah. For those born in April, this month is a symbol of renewal, patience, and the courage to let go of what no longer serves them. April marks the start of spring, a time when nature blossoms again after the quiet dormancy of winter. Likewise, people born in April have a natural ability to embrace change and rebirth, understanding that, just like the seasons, life moves in cycles. They know that waiting, even in silence, often leads to profound transformation. The Bible, the story of Easter and Christ's resurrection, speaks powerfully to the spirit of April. Jesus' death on the cross and His subsequent resurrection after 3 days in the tomb reflect the theme of waiting patiently through hardship, knowing that renewal and victory are ahead. April-born individuals have a deep connection to this theme. They are often able to endure challenging periods, knowing that new beginnings are just around the corner. April is also a time of release. As Jesus surrendered His life for the salvation of humanity, so too do April-born individuals have the inner strength to let go of what hinders them, be it fears, doubts, or old habits. They understand that true growth often comes from making space for what's new, trusting that God's plan is unfolding perfectly, even when we cannot see it in the moment. The lesson April brings is that of patient surrender and trust in God's timing. As Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 reminds us, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Just as nature blooms again in its own time, we are reminded that God's plans for us will come to fruition when the time is right. April teaches us to release our need for control and to trust the process of life. There are moments when we must simply wait, knowing that what lies ahead is more beautiful than what we leave behind. Just like Christ's resurrection, the promise of renewal is always present. Sometimes we just have to be patient enough to witness it. Those born in April reflect this truth, serving as reminders to all of us that with faith, patience, and trust in God, new life will always emerge from the old. May is a month of stability, growth, and resilience. Those born in May are blessed with a deep-rooted sense of strength and determination, much like the firm foundation of a house built on rock. This is a time of year when the earth is fully awakening, flowers are in bloom, and everything seems to be growing in abundance. Similarly, May-born individuals carry with them the ability to nurture and build strong foundations in their lives, even in the face of adversity. In the Bible, we find inspiration in figures like Abraham, whose faith was tested but never wavered. Abraham trusted God's promise, even when it seemed impossible. May-born individuals, like Abraham, are called to be patient and steadfast, knowing that God's promises will be fulfilled in due time. They have an unwavering sense of faith that helps them weather life's storms, always keeping their eyes on the long-term rewards of faithfulness. May reminds us of the importance of building a life grounded in God's Word. Just as plants need strong roots to grow tall and healthy, our faith must be deeply rooted in God. Those born in May have a special gift for nurturing not only their own spiritual growth, but also the growth of others. They are often seen as reliable and steady, offering support and encouragement to those around them, helping to create a solid foundation in the community. The lesson of May is one of endurance and trust. James 1 verse 12 says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." May-born individuals embody this truth. They remind us that life, like faith, requires patience, and that God's promises will always come to pass for those who remain steadfast. This month challenges all of us to remain strong in our faith, especially during times of difficulty. Just as flowers continue to grow despite harsh winds or heavy rain, so too must we persevere in our spiritual journeys, trusting that God is using every challenge to strengthen us. Those born in May inspire us to keep moving forward, building our lives on the unshakable foundation of God's Word, knowing that through Him, all things are possible. June is a month associated with leadership, vision, and the ability to guide others toward their spiritual calling. For those born in June, there is a natural sense of responsibility and a strong desire to help others find their way, just as John the Baptist prepared the path for the coming of Christ. June-born individuals are often seen as leaders, capable of seeing the bigger picture and guiding those around them with wisdom, humility, and strength. In the Bible, John the Baptist is an exemplary figure for those born in this month. He was a forerunner, called to prepare the way for the Lord by preaching repentance and baptizing people in the name of God. June-born individuals often carry a similar calling in life. They are called to help others discover their purpose and guide them toward a deeper relationship with God. They may not always take center stage, but their role in helping others grow spiritually is vital. June is also a month of discernment. People born in this time are not only strong leaders, but they also have the ability to see what others may not, providing clarity and direction in times of confusion. This gift of discernment is something to be nurtured and shared, as it helps others avoid the pitfalls of life and stay on the right path. The key lesson that June teaches is the power of servant leadership. As Jesus himself said in Matthew 20 verse 26, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant." Those born in June exemplify this through their selfless leadership and guidance. They remind us that true leadership is not about power or control, but about serving others and leading them with love and humility. For everyone, June is a reminder to step up and lead when called upon, but to do so with the heart of a servant. We are all called to help one another grow in faith, just as John the Baptist helped prepare the way for Christ. Whether through offering advice, showing the way forward, or simply being present for those in need, June-born individuals encourage us to be leaders who build others up, always pointing them back to God's love and truth. July is a month of reflection, self-awareness, and living with authenticity. For those born in July, there is a deep calling to explore who they truly are and to align their lives with the purpose God has placed within them. Just as summer in full bloom invites us to embrace life and bask in the warmth of the sun, July-born individuals radiate an inner light that reflects the love of Christ through their actions and words. I am the Bible. We see King David as a figure who exemplifies the spirit of July. David, though a king, constantly sought to understand himself in relation to God. His psalms are filled with self-reflection, moments of vulnerability and praise, showing that true strength lies in being honest with oneself and with God. Like David, July-born individuals have a gift for looking inward, reflecting on their journey, and using that understanding to live in a way that honors God. July-born individuals are often known for their ability to be authentic in their relationships. They value truth, both in themselves and in others, and are not afraid to show vulnerability when necessary. Their authenticity draws people closer, creating deeper and more meaningful connections. This reflects the biblical principle of living in the light, as Jesus calls us to be people of truth, not hiding behind masks or pretenses. The lesson July teaches is the importance of self-reflection and living a life of authenticity. In Ephesians 5 verse 8, Paul writes, "For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light." This month reminds us that we are called to live in the light of Christ, embracing our true selves and allowing that light to shine for others to see. For those born in July, their gift of self-awareness is an inspiration to us all. They show that by understanding ourselves better, we can live more fully in God's purpose for our lives. This month encourages everyone to take time for self-reflection, to seek God's guidance in our personal journeys, and to live authentically, knowing that our true worth comes from being who God created us to be. July-born individuals challenge us to let go of false identities and embrace the person God is shaping us into, living with confidence and joy in His plan. August represents a time of spiritual growth, reflection, and seeking balance in life. For those born in August, there is a natural inclination to look beyond the surface and pursue deeper spiritual truths. August-born individuals are drawn to the profound mysteries of life and often find themselves in pursuit of a closer connection with God. Just as the summer heat begins to soften and the year starts its slow transition toward autumn, this month symbolizes a moment of balance between work and rest, between seeking and finding, and between the material and the spiritual. I am the Bible. The wisdom of Solomon reflects the essence of August. Solomon sought not wealth or power, but wisdom and understanding to lead his people well. Similarly, August-born individuals are often seekers of wisdom, desiring to understand God's will for their lives and the world around them. They are not content with surface-level knowledge. They are driven to dig deeper, to find meaning, and to align their lives with spiritual truths. This desire for depth also brings a sense of peace and balance to their lives. As they learn to trust in God's timing and plan, August reminds us that spiritual growth is a journey that requires both patience and discipline. Just as Solomon dedicated his life to understanding God's wisdom, those born in this month are called to continue their spiritual journey with perseverance and humility. They inspire others to seek not just success or happiness, but a deep and lasting relationship with God. The lesson that August offers is one of spiritual depth and the importance of balance in life. In Matthew 6 verse 33, Jesus tells us, "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." This verse reminds us that when we prioritize our spiritual life, everything else falls into place. For those born in August, this month serves as a reminder to seek God's wisdom above all else. It also encourages all of us to find balance in our lives, ensuring that our spiritual well-being is nurtured alongside our daily responsibilities. The pursuit of wisdom and spiritual growth is never-ending, but August-born individuals show us that by focusing on God's presence in our lives, we can achieve a sense of peace and balance, no matter what challenges come our way. This month invites us all to go deeper in our faith, to seek God's guidance in every area of life, and to trust that His wisdom will lead us where we need to be. September marks the beginning of a season of introspection and purpose. For those born in September, this month represents a time of seeking deeper meaning in life, focusing on truth and pursuing their God-given calling. Just as the world prepares for the harvest, September-born individuals are called to assess the fruits of their labor and evaluate their lives with purpose and clarity. They are often characterized by their ability to plan, organize, and achieve goals that go beyond the surface, seeking not only personal success, but also spiritual fulfillment. In the Bible, we see the figure of the Apostle Paul as an example of September's spirit. Paul's life was marked by a relentless pursuit of truth. After his conversion, he dedicated himself to spreading the gospel, no matter the personal cost. September-born individuals carry a similar drive. They are determined to find truth in all things and live according to the principles of their faith. They are not satisfied with half-hearted efforts. Instead, they commit fully to their work, relationships, and spiritual journey, always aiming to glorify God in everything they do. September is also a month of reflection. Like farmers preparing for the harvest, people born in this month are often drawn to look back on their lives, examine their progress, and realign their actions with their values. They have a natural gift for discernment, knowing when to pause, reflect, and make adjustments to ensure that their lives are moving in the right direction. This is a month where goals are reassessed, priorities are set straight, and new plans are made with God's guidance. The lesson that September teaches is the importance of seeking truth and living with purpose. Proverbs 16 verse 3 reminds us, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." September-born individuals embody this by dedicating their efforts to God's service, knowing that true success comes from aligning their plans with His will. For everyone, September is a reminder to pause and reflect on our lives. Are we living with purpose? Are we seeking truth in our relationships, work, and spiritual journey? This month calls us to evaluate where we are and where we need to go. It encourages us to set new goals with the intention of glorifying God in all that we do. September-born individuals show us that living with purpose requires intentionality and commitment, and that when we seek truth, God will guide our steps and help us achieve a harvest of blessings in our lives. October brings with it the beauty of fall, a season of transition that reminds us of the importance of humility and service. For those born in October, there is a deep calling to live a life of quiet strength, marked by acts of kindness and a humble heart. Just as nature begins to slow down and prepare for rest, October-born individuals understand the importance of stepping back, listening to God's voice, and serving others with a spirit of love and compassion. In the Bible, the life of Jesus Christ serves as the ultimate example of humility and service, particularly in His washing of the disciples' feet, John 13 verses 1 to 17. This act, though simple, was deeply symbolic of Christ's willingness to serve rather than be served, even though He was the Son of God. October-born individuals are similarly called to embody this spirit of service. They find fulfillment not in seeking recognition or praise, but in quietly helping others, reflecting the humility of Christ in their daily lives. October also teaches us that true greatness is found in humility. Jesus' words in Matthew 23 verses 11 to 12, "The greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted," remind us that serving others with a humble heart is a reflection of God's love. Those born in October often have a special ability to lift others up, showing that through selfless acts of kindness, they can make a profound impact on the world. The lesson that October imparts is the power of humility and the importance of serving others. True humility does not mean thinking less of oneself, but thinking of oneself less. It is about recognizing that God has given each of us gifts, not for our own glory, but to bless others. October-born individuals remind us that service is the highest form of love and that by humbling ourselves, we allow God's grace to work through us. For everyone, October is a reminder to slow down and look around at those who might need our help, even in small ways. It's a time to reflect on how we can serve others in our families, communities, and workplaces. This month challenges us to embrace humility, knowing that through our quiet acts of service, we are reflecting the heart of Christ. October-born individuals inspire us to live out our faith through action, showing that the path to greatness is paved with humility and love for others. November is a month filled with introspection, reflection, and deep emotional connection. For those born in November, This time of year represents a season of looking inward, connecting with one's faith and understanding the cycles of life and death. As autumn draws closer to winter, the world begins to slow down, and in this stillness, November-born individuals find their strength. They possess a unique ability to see the bigger picture, understanding that every ending holds the promise of a new beginning. In the Bible, the story of Job serves as a powerful reflection of November's theme. Job, despite losing everything, remained steadfast in his faith, trusting in God's greater plan. November-born individuals often face trials in life that force them to look deeply within themselves, finding strength through their connection to God. They are equipped to weather the storms of life, knowing that God's purpose is greater than any temporary hardship. Their faith reminds us that even in the darkest seasons, God is still at work, preparing something new. November also brings with it a deep sense of empathy. People born in this month are naturally attuned to the feelings and needs of others. They have a remarkable ability to listen and understand, offering comfort to those who are grieving or struggling. This mirrors Christ's call to weep with those who weep, Romans 12 verse 15, reminding us that empathy is a vital part of living a Christ-centered life. November-born individuals reflect this empathy, often serving as a source of emotional and spiritual support for those around them. The lesson that November teaches is the importance of reflection and emotional connection. It reminds us that life is filled with cycles, joy and sorrow, birth and death, and that in each of these moments, God is present. As Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." November-born individuals remind us that while endings may be difficult, they are never the final word. God is always working behind the scenes, bringing renewal from what seems lost. For everyone, November encourages a time of reflection, looking back on the past, understanding the present, and trusting God with the future. It is a month to embrace our emotions, to connect deeply with others, and to allow God to guide us through life's transitions. Those born in November inspire us to live with faith in every season, knowing that with God, every end brings the promise of a new beginning. They teach us the power of empathy, reflection, and the beauty of trusting God through the cycles of life. December, the final month of the year, is filled with hope, redemption, and the promise of new beginnings. For those born in December, this month reflects the joyous anticipation of Christ's birth, which brought salvation and peace to the world. The Advent season, which leads up to Christmas, is a time of waiting, preparing, and celebrating the greatest gift of all, Jesus Christ. December-born individuals carry this spirit of hope and are often seen as sources of encouragement and optimism in the lives of those around them. In the Bible, the birth of Jesus is the ultimate representation of hope. As foretold by the prophets, the coming of Christ was the fulfillment of God's promise to bring salvation to humanity. December-born individuals reflect this message of hope and redemption, often reminding others that, no matter how dark life may seem, God's light is always near. Their faith encourages people to look forward to the future with confidence, trusting in God's perfect timing and plan. December also reminds us of the power of redemption. Just as Christ came into the world to redeem us from sin, those born in this month have a special connection to the themes of forgiveness and renewal. They understand that everyone deserves a second chance and often serve as peacemakers, helping to restore broken relationships and guide others toward healing. Their ability to forgive mirrors the grace of Christ, who offers redemption to all who seek Him. The lesson that December brings is the power of hope and the promise of redemption. In Isaiah 9 verse 6, we are reminded of the hope that Christ's birth brought to the world. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. December-born individuals embody this hope, encouraging us to trust in God's goodness and the peace that comes from knowing Christ. For everyone, December is a reminder to embrace hope, even in the face of life's challenges. It is a month to reflect on the gift of Christ's birth and the redemption that He offers to all. This month encourages us to look back on the year with gratitude and to move forward with faith, knowing that God's promises are true. December-born individuals inspire us to live with a spirit of hope, always believing that through Christ, redemption is possible and a new beginning is just around the corner. They teach us to celebrate the joy of life, the beauty of forgiveness, and the endless hope that is found in Jesus Christ. As we've journeyed through each month, we've seen how every season holds its own unique beauty and spiritual significance. From the fresh beginnings of January, where we embrace the hope of new possibilities, to the depths of reflection and redemption found in December, each month is a mirror reflecting the different stages of our own faith journey. It reminds us that no matter where we find ourselves, whether in seasons of growth, struggle, patience, or celebration, God is at work, shaping our hearts and guiding our steps. Each month calls us to live with purpose, to lean into the lessons it offers, and to trust that God's timing is perfect. January encourages us to step forward in faith, even when the future is uncertain. February reminds us of the balance between truth and love, while March teaches us the importance of following God's call, even when the world doesn't understand. April, with its message of renewal, shows us the power of letting go, and May strengthens us to persevere with unwavering faith. As we continue through the year, June inspires us to be servant leaders, July calls us to live authentically, and August invites us to seek spiritual depth and balance. September reminds us to pursue truth and purpose, while October encourages us to embrace humility and service. November, with its focus on reflection and emotional connection, teaches us the value of empathy, and finally, December brings us the ultimate message of hope and redemption through the birth of Christ. But beyond these months, there is an even greater truth that runs through each season, that God's love for us is constant and unwavering. No matter what month you were born in, no matter what season of life you're in right now, you have been created with a divine purpose. Each of us is on a unique journey, but we are all bound together by God's grace and His endless desire to see us flourish in faith, love, and service. So, as you carry these reflections with you, let them inspire you to live each day with renewed faith and intention. Let them remind you that every moment, every challenge, and every joy is part of a greater plan that God is weaving together for your good. And as you step into each new month, may you do so with the courage to embrace the lessons it brings, the strength to trust in God's timing, and the hope that through Him, all things are made new. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you carry these lessons in your heart and live each month as a reflection of the love, wisdom, and grace that God has poured into your life. Together, let's walk forward, always seeking His will, always trusting His promises, and always remembering that with God, every season holds a purpose, and every month is an opportunity to draw closer to Him.